So for those of you that have watched my previous Dredge video, also if you haven't, I would recommend it for context, thank you very much. However, you might remember me saying that this was my game of the year, and so far that has continued to be true. Dredge for me is the perfect example of addictive simplicity. It is a very basic concept but finessed in a way that for me is just perfect. So you can imagine my excitement when the first DLC pack, the Pale Reach, was announced. But who cares about announced, as today is the day, and it is time to get back into the world of fishing and now explore a rather cold theme, all in the name of achievements. So without further ado, let's begin. Welcome to the Achievement Grind. Now, it has been said that this DLC can be finished in a couple of hours, so I decided to head straight into it. When we first start the game, the mayor tells us of a photographer that has been visiting over the last couple of days. Now, she doesn't really say much or stay for very long, but she mentioned that she was heading south, so I guess that's where we're going to have to go to find her. Travelling south, we soon see it, the Pale Reach, a new island that is nothing but solid ice and danger. Our first port of call is to visit the merchant again. She is the exact same as she works in the base game. However, she soon finds blueprints that can now advertise a new contraption, that we will no likely need to deal with the ice problems around here. We just need to find the parts to an icebreaker that have apparently been scattered around the island. And if we find those, it would be a fantastic way to just break the ice. Move over, heavy polar bear. Now, since this is a new region, we need an appropriate rod. So we buy one capable of ice fishing and get to exploring for the first time. We find new species that I recognise, such as the Arctic char, and we also find some species that I really hope don't actually exist, because the idea of a toothfish just doesn't do it for me. Now, after a brief moment of fishing, we actually then find the photographer that was mentioned before. Now, thankfully, she doesn't give us the cold shoulder. Hey. Nah, she needs our help in taking pictures of the local adorable narwhal that has been spotted. Now, we have some spare fish, so we offer to set up a buffet for the little bastard, and hopefully get it to appear. We plop some fish down and it works like a treat, and the adorable creature comes up for a taste of the menu. Oh, and when I mean cute adorable creature, I in fact mean a hulking fairy nightmare unicorn fish, because that's not any narwhal that I've ever seen. However, for feeding this git for the first time, we also unlock our first achievement in the DLC, feeding time. Now, as you can imagine, this scares the photographer pretty damn badly, so she drives off like the coward she is, never to be seen again. And yes, I'm going to call her cowardly, not smart, even though it is the smarter of the options. Anyway, with the narwhal clearing the way, we can now access the island proper. The first thing that we find is an abandoned camp. Inside one of the buildings of this camp, we find a logbook from the captain that says that something is wrong with this area, because of course it is. The men on the ship can hear a constant heartbeat that only gets louder. There are voices in their head promising them many treasures from the stars, and honestly, sounds pretty damn good. However, I doubt we'll be seeing the captain to this ship anytime soon. We then find the captain to the ship, encased in ice and begging to be left alone. Apparently something is lurking in the ice waiting for us, just listening. So not wanting to annoy him and not having the tools to free him, we just leave him for now. Exploring further, we then find another point of interest, a gigantic hand frozen in the ice, with another trapped human sickle. This one once again warns us of the danger that this place holds. However, this person actually wants to be freed. In fact, they beg for it. However, toolless, we must proceed further first. Now, eventually we do find some more things. Another buried hand with another trapped soul, and another frozen human next to something huge. An absolute monster that I quite frankly don't want to thaw out anytime soon. So knowing that I needed to be much more prepared for this, we decided that finding the icebreaker was probably our best bet. Thankfully, this didn't take too long at all, and after another day of fishing, we had found all three pieces that it needs. We return to the ice merchant, let her know of our good fortune, and she crafts and installs the icebreaker onto the front of our boat. With that, as you can imagine as well, is also our next achievement, Icebreaker. With this, we can now be a little more aggressive in the area, as the small blocks of ice won't damage the ship anymore. With this tool, we then bash our way straight through into some more hidden areas of the ice. In these areas are the pickaxes that we need to break the humans out of their frosty encasings. During all of this, of course, and as you would imagine, we also fish as much as we can to try and get all of the fish types and aberrations that we'll need for some achievements later on, all whilst dodging the dreaded narwhal, who thinks of us as a tasteless tasty snack as well. However, with the ice picks, I decided to be brave and break the first human out of his canister. When we use the ice pick to crack him open, it isn't a human, it's a soul of sorts that floats away. When it does, one of the monster's 4 eye immediately closes, and you know that's a great sign. It's time to go and do it with the rest of them, as we also get a special rock for our troubles. Break after break later, we gain more ice stones and eyes close on the beast until all 4 people have been saved, or sent to heaven, or whatever they're doing. The point is that they're not there anymore. With the final save though, something happens. All 4 eyes close and the ice begins to thaw. When it does, the horn of this beast falls apart, revealing something in the sea that we can now go and pick up. However, we have one more thing to do first. Earlier whilst exploring, I found a rock pile that demanded the 4 stones that we've just unlocked from breaking the humans out. With those 4 stones, we can now complete this puzzle, and when we do, we get our next achievement for beating the main campaign of the DLC, Under the Ice. But we also get our hands on a pretty kick-ass trawler net that will be very handy for an achievement later on. Now, I'll be honest, I was a touch surprised that this was the end of the main questline already. Without any cinematic scenes or explanations, it's just over. And it did confuse me a little, but we have some more achievements to complete first, so we'll see what happens. Now, with this trawler net attached, we head straight back to the merchant to sell some goods. However, on the way, it catches the colossal squid. Now, apparently, these are rare enough to be an achievement as well, as when we catch it, we also unlock From the Black Depths. My curiosity had also got the better of me by now, so we decided to go and see what the horn left us. When we approached the demon monster fish thingy, I was expecting a jump scare or to watch this creature be unleashed on us. However, thankfully, it stayed asleep. When we dredge the glowy water, we then find a special anchor. Now, this anchor has powers, although it's nothing much. It just allows us to create a portal to our home base for fast travels, which is fine, I suppose. With that, we only have some cleanup left now, folks. Now, the merchant on a previous visit said that there's another piece of equipment out there for us to find, and she says that when we do find it, if we bring it back, she can then craft ice blocks to hold in our boat, keeping the fish that we catch fresher for a little longer. Now, not a bad deal at all, so we go to find it. It took us a moment as I was mainly looking inside of the island, not around the edges, but we soon find it and steal it for ourselves. When we return to the merchant, she thanks us and gives us a couple of ice blocks for free. However, for our next achievement, we need 5 of them on the boat at the same time. So we quickly shut her up, throw some money at her, and buy 3 more blocks. With that, we have the 5 that we need and our next achievement as well. Oh damn, I can't see that. I can't read that. What does it say, Ollie? Ah yes, fresh fish, thank you. Honestly, that was just a joke from my dad, but if you folks like Laurel and Hardy too, sod it, enjoy it. Now the only things left are now to complete the last side missions when I find them, and to catch every new species of fish and aberration as well. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, that's what I thought, until I just couldn't find any new kinds of fish that I needed. But that's when I remembered. Crabs. I forgot that crab pots even existed, and I knew that that's where the final few had to be. So we threw a collection of pots down and got back to questing. Now, for more exploring, we found another man in colour, same as the ones from the base game, except this human is white. And once again, he demands fish, but the special aberration versions. So since we're going for those anyway, instead of letting him die, we decide to oblige, and we will be very thankful for this later on. For now though, a couple of in-game days go by, and we've done alright for ourselves. We've even fed the stranger once. However, it was finally time to reap the rewards of the crab pots. When we open the first one, we find 2 beautiful new species of crabs in there, and with that catch every new type of fish in the Pale Reach, unlocking our next achievement as well, Polar Angler. With these recent crab catches as well, we also have the last requirements for the white stranger and go to give him a bloody good meal. When he chows down on all of the crustaceans that we bring him, he rewards us with a book, and more importantly, our next achievement for completing every side mission of the Pale Reach, unlocking frozen favours. Only one more achievement to go now, folks. It's time for the remaining aberrations. Well, I say that plurally, I only in fact need the one, the aberration for the colossal squid that can only be caught with a trawler net. In other words, we just have to drive around and hope that the RNG gods bless us with a messed up version of a pretty intense fish. Now, this took a while, I can't lie, we were just not getting lucky. We were catching everything else that we could possibly catch, but this one variation was just skipping us by. However, our luck was about to change. The stranger that just rewarded us with a book, that book makes it so that once we've read it, aberrations will spawn 4% more often, and even though 4% may not sound like a lot, I knew I needed it. So we swam around for a little while longer and eventually got the book read. With the book fully finished, we got back out there, and within 30 seconds of reading it, we found the colossal squid aberration. With the pale grasper on our boat, we unlocked the final achievement called Corruptions. And that's the pale reach for Dredge. With every achievement collected and everything possibly done, for now, the grind is over. Now, the Pale Reach was a very small DLC, that is obvious, and for what it was, I actually really did enjoy it quite a bit. However, I do wish that they pushed it a little further. What we got was fine, but I can't lie, I was expecting a little more than fine. Maybe with a couple of extra missions or two, or a cinematic of something funky for doing it, I'm not too sure. However, I was a little gutted that I'd already finished it as soon as I did. Again though, I do think that it fits Dredge pretty nicely, and is quite fun to go through still. The new fish look weird and great, and once again, I just love the art style of this game. Also, the narwhal was a great little opponent for the area, and it did scare the smeg out of me a couple of times, so I imagine it did exactly what the devs wanted it to do. Now, I'm not going to do any stats for this or anything like that. I did that in the previous video, and honestly, my mind is exactly the same as it was back then. But I am going to say that I do think that this DLC is worth picking up. It did get me back into the swing of things with Dredge, and I'm already looking forward to seeing what comes next. Honestly, probably going to play the entire game again as well. And I know I am biased because I absolutely love this game. However, I'm sure you folks will all make up your own minds about this all. I do recommend it though. That's it for me, folks. A shorter one today, I know, but thank you all so much for watching still. I really do hope that you enjoyed the video, and I also really hope that a couple of you give this game a go and the DLC a chance if you haven't already. Honestly, I could not recommend it more. It's my game of the year still, so Team 17, please don't keep me waiting too long for the next installment, yeah? Okay? Cool, thanks. But with that, folks, don't forget to also swing by my Twitch as well, where we go for the achievement grinds live. It would be absolutely spectacular to have you there. And of course, need to thank my amazing Patreon followers and subs once again as well. So thank you, you kindly amazing people. However, with that, once again, thank you all so much for watching. I shall see you all soon, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.